In this section, we're going to begin talking about keywords, and it's an exciting section. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend you sticking around, or even if you've been running some campaigns and you want to refresh your course, some of the things that are new in Google Ads, then it's worthwhile sticking around as well. I'm going to go in quite a bit of detail when it comes to keywords and search terms and queries, because keywords, in my opinion, are the heartbeat of the account. They're the most important thing to get right. You might not have perfect ads, you might not have perfect audience configurations, even your conversion tracking might not be as accurate as possible, you might have the wrong attribution model. But if you don't have your keywords right, then nothing else will follow. Everything else will break down around it. It's sort of like the central part of the hub in the account. So in this lecture, let's spend some time talking about what keywords are and how they contrast with search terms and queries. Keywords are the items that are up for auction. So I always tell my students, imagine Google Ads like a live auction. It doesn't work the same way as every other auction works. Google Ads is a second price auction or an English auction where you only end up paying for a click the most it takes, or right above the amount you need to beat the person below you. So for example, if your maximum CPC bid is $5, you don't necessarily end up paying that $5. You'll not pay more than that $5 in most cases. You'll only pay as much as you need to beat the person below you, and we'll talk about how your actual CPC gets calculated in a future lecture. But when you enter keywords into an account, every single ad group has keywords. You cannot have a functioning ad group without two things: keywords and ads. In every single ad group, you need at least one keyword. We'll also talk about the proper number of keywords when we talk about keyword planning, keyword organization, etc. in some of the future lectures. But every keyword that you put into your account represents an item that you want to bid on. You want to get an impression when somebody searches for something similar or that exact keyword, and that's where search terms come into play. The keywords you add to your ad groups instruct Google as to which queries should trigger your ads. Now, queries and search terms are interchangeable. You could really use either one. Google tends to refer to them as search terms more. We're going to talk about the search terms report. It's one of the most useful features in Google Ads. It's probably the report in Google Ads that you'll spend the most amount of time in when we talk about creating an optimization schedule and how you should be optimizing your account. But queries and search terms are what the user enters into the Google search box. That is not necessarily your keyword. Your keyword, and again, a keyword could be one word, it could be up to 10 words in a phrase, in a group of words. The keyword is what you put into your ad groups. You're telling Google that these keywords should instruct you as to which search terms of actual people should trigger my ads. And the keywords moderate that relationship between search term and an ad. How strict or loose Google ends up being with the similarity between a search term and matching it up with a keyword in your account totally relies on match types. And we're going to go into each of the specific match types in more detail. Over here you have a picture of me, right? You could tell by the red hair. He's not wearing a beanie though, because it's in the wash, I guess. I'm just kidding, this doesn't get washed, but it does. Here's a picture of me bidding $2.50. Now, the reason I spent too much time drawing this sketch is because you should conceptualize, like I said before, every single auction as a bid. Billions of searches a day, which means billions of live auctions. Every single search term represents a different likelihood for a customer to buy. Every single search term represents a chance for you to have a keyword in your account trigger one of your ads to show, depending on what you're bidding. Every single time a search is run on Google, there's a maximum CPC bid attributed to that ad in the auction. Okay, don't forget that. Whether you're using target CPA bidding, maximize clicks, target ROAS, or manual CPC bidding, there's always a bid. It might not be that you're controlling that bid if you're not using manual CPC bidding, if you're not choosing the specific bid for every single keyword in your ad group. But every single time there's an impression of yours inside the search engine results page, Google put a bid, a maximum CPC bid for that keyword, regardless if it's an autonomous bidding strategy. That just means that Google is taking over and entering that bid themselves. It's very important to remember that. It's also important to remember that distinction between keywords and search terms. You might put a keyword into your ad group like leather desk chairs, and a search term, desk accessories, may trigger your ad depending on what match type you're using. Okay, so it's very important to realize that major distinction between search terms and keywords. When it comes to understanding keywords and all the different tools and all the different strategies applied to successful building of ad groups, there's 3 separate stages to this process. The first stage that we're going to talk about is keyword research. Okay? This is the first thing that you need to get right. You need to know how to find the right keywords to enter into your account. And part of understanding keyword research is understanding the different psychology of keywords, how people talk to search engines, how people search. You might have a specific, group of keywords that you could think of really quickly that are really relevant to your products and services, but that's probably just a fraction of the keywords that will be profitable for you to have in your account. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different really good keyword research tools and how to go about researching and adding keyword ideas into your ad groups. Once you get your keyword research down, the next thing that you need to understand is keyword planning. Beginning to understand this idea of thematically related groups of keywords, understanding how your different keyword lists will fit in your overall structure, how you're going to segment out keywords at the bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel, top of the funnel, how you're going to begin planning different bids for different types of keywords. Once you have your keyword planning done, you need to have a good understanding of keyword organization, which will be the final step to building your keyword lists into your actual ad groups, and your entire account will start taking form. I'm going to walk you through each of these specific steps, why we do it, the tools you could use, and some strategies to implement. So just to recap really quickly, every single ad group needs to have keywords. Keywords are one word or a group of words that you enter into every single ad group. You enter them into Google Ads. And the keywords each have an assigned bid, whether or not it's autonomous bidding strategy for that ad group or campaign, or it's a manual CPC bidding. If it's manual CPC, you will see and you'll be able to control the bid for every single keyword. Every single time a search is run on Google, billions of times a day, there is a live auction. Keywords are looked at in every single Google Ads account. Google sees whether or not the search term or the query, which is what the person typed into Google, should trigger one of the keywords into your account based on different match type criteria. And if Google determines that a combination of all these factors like time of day bidding and all those other dimensions that we'll talk about, your actual bid and the keyword match type and the keyword in your account in that ad group, whether or not you should be placed in that auction, whether your ad should show in the search engine results page, and that all takes place in a span of minutes. And again, at the top level, the keywords are the words and phrases and sentences that describe your products and services, that describe the things that you sell. Those are the items up for auction. And again, every single time there's a Google search, there is that auction. In the next lecture, we'll go into a little bit more detail about keyword research. Then we'll talk about planning, organization, and then we'll get deep into match types, which is really exciting stuff. I look forward to seeing you guys very soon in the very next lecture.